Hello there, thanks for tuning in. You are watching That Other Review Show, here brought to you by Ubisofts. My name is Alexis, and let's get this going.
It's That Other Review Show, brought to you by Two Black Labs Audio and A Week in Geekdom.
So Watch Dogs, Watch Dogs has been the perennial, or possibly maybe behind Titanfall, the most hyped game for the last 2 years. It was shown off at E3 2012, where it wowed everyone there, really, and as well as last year's E3. And it's been delayed, I believe, a couple of times now, before it got released last week. To tell you the truth, I believe the game has not lived up to expectations, but still a solid game. I was quite relieved when it finally came out, not just because it was a great game or not. It's just I wonder what would have happened if they released that game before it was polished enough back in November, back when the next-gen consoles, well, now current-gen consoles launched. And it turned out to be a overall solid package. The game really does play well. Another thing, it is underwhelming in some aspects, in which I'm gonna cover right now. Graphically wise, I believe the game excels in terms of character models. Aiden looks very, very impressive in terms of facial textures and whatnot. As for the city as well, not very impressed with the lighting effects and the engine they use for the shadows. Very, very underwhelming, especially during the day. The game really it looks the best at night. And during the day, it really looks almost, I feel almost though as GTA 5 looks better in terms of environment and how the roads, how the houses, how the city looks overall. That killed it a little bit for me. I did not expect it to be that barely decent looking, especially for next gen. But we shouldn't really take this into consideration, because this generation is still in the baby steps. We're just barely crawling right now, and we haven't really gotten any great looking games just yet. Maybe Forza, which I covered, Rise, but we're still, it's baby steps, and not to mention the whole thing with the RAM and the cloud with Xbox One, which obviously kind of degrades the value of the FPS and in 1080p, 981, 100p nonsense, which is overrated by most gamers and just fueled by fanboys' fires, in my opinion. But yeah, overall the game does not look bad. It looks slightly above decent. Character models do look very well. But yeah, in terms of sound, I was very surprised. I was very pleasantly surprised by the quality of the sound. And in terms of playlist, I really did like. They do not care much about the playlist in the game. It is not like Grand Theft Auto, in which you have stations you can change and whatnot. It is not like that at all. You actually have a set X amount or a playlist. Like, it was basically if it's the same if you had a CD or a iPhone or a music playlist on your car. So it's not like they have stations with people talking and whatnot. It's not like that, and that's okay. It should be different. But in terms of when you get into a campaign and you get into certain scenarios in which the music changes, there's really no environment. Music takes over a little bit over the environment. It really does feel, the soundtrack is like very cool, very drama-ish. And yeah, it does the jobs, I guess. It feels very much like a crime drama and whatnot. And yeah, in terms of what it's worth, I would give it a 7 or an 8. 8 being when it gets really good, 7 when it's just barely decent. In terms of playability, which is the whole, if you're a true gamer, you should be really caring about how the game plays, really. If you're a real gamer or a core gamer or whatnot, that's my opinion. Game plays very well. That cover system needs to be emulated by other games. It's very fluid. It allows you to move easily and precisely almost precisely, I would say. Obviously, it's not perfect. It does have its flaw. For an open world, it is very, very well done. In terms of that, you have the focus, in which you can slow down time, Matrix style. Yes, it's been 15 years after the Matrix. We're still doing bullet time. It works. It works. It doesn't feel cheesy at all. It's actually quite helpful. The game has to do a lot with its environment and whatnot, and how you make use of it. Obviously, everything in Chicago is connected, actually, because of the CTOS and how the police base the whole network on how they act on that system. And it's up to you, hacker, to really do whatever you want with it. You slowly but surely progress in your skills by doing missions or whatnot, and doing some tasks specifically. You progress and you can upgrade the skills, like make blockers go up, which make vehicles crash, traffic lights, bridges, hacking into cameras. That is actually, you do not progress with that, but yeah, you get the idea. It really does feel like an RPG. I haven't felt that in quite a while, because I know Grand Theft Auto does it, or more or less tries to do it, but this really feels a little bit organized, and I liked it a little bit more. Unfortunately, there's no other game to compare it to other than Grand Theft Auto, and it really does the job well. I mean, it feels more of a RPG kind of mentality, but then again, Grand Theft Auto is not it's not really based on RPGs or whatnot. Obviously, Ubisoft, they try to do something different while emulating what's been done in the past, and it's worked. It's worked. It's a little bit, the ability to hack is quite easy and on the fly, which it's beautiful and dynamic. Could it be more complex? Yes, but I'm pretty sure Ubisoft spent millions of dollars in this game, not to mention its advertisement, just to make the game play to make it accessible for people and whatnot. So for me, it gets a passing grade. In terms of gameplay, it'll be like an 8 or a 9, I would say. It's rather interesting. Gunplay plays almost well. This is not a shooter-based open world game. This is meant for you to act on stealth. This means that when you sneak in somewhere to just hack into somewhere, you need to the game encourages you to be stealthy and be sneaky as fuck. And you should do it, because that's the way the game is meant to be played. And honestly, it's more fun that way. Yes, it's fun to shoot as bad guys as well. I don't believe the shooting is as much as refined as it could be, and that's okay, because it does some other things very well as well. So it gets a passing grade on that. In terms of story, I've actually read and heard a lot about how the story is a little bit underwhelming. Aiden Pierce is a very supposed to be a badass anti-hero. He kind of does. The characters he's around with are actually more interesting than him. The whole characters, especially his nephew, and how he relates to them. He's kind of like not like a douchebag, more like a douchebag, yeah. And well, he's not that interesting, to tell you the truth. They tried to play him up as someone mysterious or whatnot, and I get the whole thing. I admire, I respect Ubisoft for trying a different thing and making this character more about an anti-hero. Does it succeed? Actually, not that great. He's not that interesting of a character. When he does his Christian Bale Batman voice, is not that cool, I guess. That's what I thought about. So I had to be perfectly honest. I have not completed the campaign yet, since I wanted to get this out and just really communicate how the game has been doing, how basically the game how's my experience with it. And honestly, it's a fun game. Could it be better? Fuck yeah! I'm pretty sure, considering the engine's been done, Graphics need a little bit more work. That's not necessarily part of the engine, but it does has something to do with it up to some point. You should be expecting a lot of Watch Dogs by next year, and I would not be surprised if they do release it before that fall/winter time frame. Especially considering this game sold so much during the first week. I don't know if you guys heard, this game sold 4 million copies in a week. That's absurd, just on a hype train for a not really a bad game, but not really a great one either. This is not a 10 out of 10 game, which is kind of sad considering how much hype has been placed on it and whatnot. So yeah, I would expect a Watch Dogs next year just because of sales, and honestly, it's this, and it's getting 8 and 9s across the board, and it's just a lot more work to be done by Ubisoft on this game. Some Easter eggs on the game. The game rumors are going around that the game takes place in the Assassin's Creed universe. That would be interesting to do so. There will be a lot of money involved as well for Ubisoft. Let's see how that goes. And yeah, this is most definitely what We Can Geek Them approved by me. Yeah, and I don't know what else to say. Alexis, the Alpha Geek, out. I'm out, guys. See ya.
Remember to subscribe, or you can like and follow us on social media, or just follow us on our main website, that's aweekingeekdom.com.